We're hours away from our first preseason game of the 2021-2022 season. I'm Tamara Brown. That's Mike Dussault. We're ready to break down our first couple of weeks of training camp as we head into preseason game number one. Mike, what's really stood out to me, especially since the pads have been put on, is the defense. They've been all over the field. They've been pretty dominant in the one-on-ones. I really enjoyed seeing J.C. Jackson really get some interceptions. We've had McCourty. We've had, honestly, the whole group just flying all over the field, really making plays. What has really stood out to you as far as what you've seen these last couple of days when the pads been put on?
Yeah, for sure. It looks a lot different than it did last year. You know, the guys were opting out, guys left, and, you know, now having Dante Hightower back, Kyle Van Noy back, two guys that I'll start with, and bringing in Matthew Judon. Those are three, you know, legit NFL linebackers. So right there, I think that's a huge boost. And we haven't even seen Stephon Gilmore yet. You know, we know he's working, rehabbing and contract situation. So, but I think all signs are pointing that he will be back. And I think once you put him back into the mix, it's a great defense, top to bottom. Still some questions, I think, with some of the younger guys up front, you know, or Chase Winovich, who's still on the PUP list, or Josh Uche, Anthony Jennings. Those guys, are they, you know, ready to kind of rise up and seize a role, if you will? But you got to love the depth that they have. They'll have some hard choices to make, but exciting to see how these guys kind of perform in the preseason, especially those younger guys who really can use the experience.
Do you want to give a quick recap on the quarterback competition and what we've seen from them since the pads have been put on?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it's real football. Just the sound of the pads, having fans back in the stands. It's been nice. It's certainly, there hasn't been a lot of it. I mean, only, you know, a handful of padded practices so far, about to hit the next level. But as you mentioned, the quarterback competition, that's what everybody wants to know about. You got Cam Newton back after, you know, a year in the system. I think he's looked better, you know, and I think he can use this time in the preseason as much as anybody, whether or not he plays here against Washington, or, you know, how they manage this. It's a little bit of uncharted territory with 3 preseason games, but I think the same goes for Mac Jones. Although they're kind of in different spots, I think they both need some time, and especially in competitive football, when, you know, joint practices and all that, just to give Mac, I think all that's really going to hold him back at this point is just experience. I think he's got to get out there as much as possible and, you know, start to understand how NFL defenses come at him and what they throw at him. And the coaches have been doing a great job of kind of giving him a little bit of a taste of it. But I think both quarterbacks have kind of had their moments up and down. They're both in different spots, though. So we'll see who we see here initially against the football team, but I'm sure over the next few weeks, we're going to see plenty of both of them. And that competition should, you know, start to clarify a little bit.
Definitely. We've got a healthy Cam Newton and a hungry Mac Jones as we head into this first preseason game against the Washington football team. Of course, the Washington football team is coming off winning their division title, as well as having the second best defense in the league. But, you know, when you look at this matchup on Thursday night against this Washington football team, what is your highlight, so to speak, as we look at this matchup?
You know, for me, I'm mostly focused on the Patriots right now, and really trying to find guys who are going to take this opportunity and run with it. And I think that there are certainly opportunities to be had. You look on the offensive side of the ball, a guy like Christian Wilkerson, who was an undrafted, you know, guy last year, mostly on the practice squad, doesn't have a lot of experience. Be great to get him some snaps. He's looked real good in the preseason, but let's get him out there against the live defense. You know, and then on the other side of the ball, I think some of those younger cornerbacks, you know, who's going to step up and, you know, fill in while Stephon Gilmore is out, if he's out, you know, going into the season. A guy like Jawan Williams, you know, entering year 3. I think Michael Jackson, another one who's, you know, been making plays, D-Virgin. I think those cornerbacks are going to see a lot of action. And I think the Patriots have some needs on their roster to see some of those guys emerge. And as I mentioned before, I think the young pass rushers, you know, Josh Uche, getting a chance to see Anthony Jennings out there, all those guys, Kyle Duggar, that didn't get a lot of opportunity to play last year. They were just kind of thrown into the fire. So I think those first, second year guys, it's going to be a lot of fun just to see them get a chance to have a preseason game to work out some kinks. Last year, they didn't get that chance.
All right, we've got real football, what our guys keep calling it, as we prepare for our Thursday night game with Washington coming to town. We are so excited for this game, to have fans in the stand, our first of 3 preseason games. Stay tuned for more content coming on YouTube, as Mike and I will be back following the game, and more content on Patriots.com as well.